Check 1 2 1 2. Coming through on the 1 2. Okay, babe. Okay, babe. I feel like we need to decipher what qualifies someone as a whore. Who decided what a whore was? Ne? The first whore we know of is Jezebel. Ne? And Jezebel is in the Bible. And the assumption being that the Bible was written by a white man. Right? And the Bible in itself, I'm a Christian, I love God, I love the Word. But the Bible in itself is, especially because it's written by a white man, is very institutional, with an institutional agenda. Ne? Because religion is law. Well, religion was law. Right? The law of the land was what white men apparently said what God apparently wanted. So white men like to control shit. Right? White men love to control shit. And especially, why? For capitalist agendas. Ne? They like to control things because self-preservation, especially, I applaud whites and like Caucasians and Jews and those types of people for this concept of self-preservation. But it's all self-preservation at the expense of the next person. Ne? So for whatever reason now, because maybe at some point in, before Christ times, women were just all about, I just want to fuck. Because fucking is good, babe. Fucking is healthy. If fucking was only for recreational purposes, it would not be as fun as it is. There would be no AIDS. Ne? It's so good, in fact, that there is AIDS. Which actually we could argue, maybe now it's a way for population control or to control the anatomy of people. But anyway. So now they go and they say Jezebel was a hoe. But this is why I love Jesus, because Jesus loved Jezebel. A hoe or not. Ne? And in fact, why was Jezebel a whore? Do you know that story about Jezebel? Why was Jezebel a whore? I would like someone to tell me now why Jezebel was a anyway, fine, she was a whore.
I just know you can't name your daughter Jezebel, okay?
But Jezebel is an amazing name.
But then...
No, babe. We need to, in fact, no, babe. We need to know why Jezebel was called a whore. Mm-hmm. But let's say for all terms and purposes, fine, she was a whore. We're going to figure out why she was called a whore at a later stage. We need to go refer to the word of life, the Bible. So now, there's this thing of don't be a Jezebel in life. Ne? And I'm being told not to be a Jezebel, but I don't even know what the fuck a Jezebel is. So then we decide amongst ourselves that it is having too much sex with too many men. Ne? Okay. I don't necessarily see what's really wrong with that. I don't know what's wrong with that. Do I personally, at my age, I've, done it a couple of times, never had drunken, but I had casual upon casual. To a point I was like, okay, maybe I'm a whore now. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm a whore. I don't know, Is it the amount of men you've been with? So then you have these bitches that walk around, these bitches that worked hard quiet now when she was fucking 22, and then she married her high school sweetheart, and now she's a glorified saint, ne? But they are usually the most dissatisfied women in life. I'm not saying this generally speaking, I'm generalizing. Maybe I'm speaking from a point of bitterness because I've had a lot of dick in my life. Maybe I'm bitter. Maybe I do wish, babe. Like, I wish that you were my first and my last. But you're not my first. Hopefully you're my last. I'm kind of done fucking. It's exhausting. And you gotta look good and shit, like, all the time, You have to introduce new cellulite and introduce to, like, a new person, like... And cellulite is sitting there thinking, like, God, I've been around for so long. Why are you still hiding me? I'm like, no, cellulite, it's a new guy. He doesn't know. So cellulite, just, like, keep your shit in order. Ne? Until, he falls for you, then we can introduce you to the table. But anyway, I really want... So now there's this dichotomy between if she is sexually repressed, she's conscious and she's rational. And if she is sexually overt or she's aware of her anatomy and she likes dick in her vagina, she likes dick in her mouth, she likes it, it's up her ass, all of that stuff, it's nice. then she's a whore. And a whore is someone that apparently is not rational and is not conscious, right? But my thing about it is, in fact, a whore is way more conscious than the woman that denies herself sexual pleasure. Because a whore makes use of all of her faculties. It's kind of like saying you're smarter than the next. It's like, you know how they glorify disabled people? Oh, let's applaud him because he got through varsity in a wheelchair. Yeah, he got through varsity in a wheelchair. You don't need to walk. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's a feat. It's something, yes, that it's commendable that you went through all the odds and whatever. But the thing is, this isn't a person that decided, I am no longer going to use my legs and I'm just going to sit in a chair and go, oh, I'm no longer going to use my eyes, but I'm going to, study with Braille and shit. Ne? They are victims of circumstance. Let me not say victims, but their situations or circumstance, be it via birth or life happened or whatever. So they find themselves disabled in whatever capacity. But if you ask them today, do you want to be applauded for finishing varsity on a wheelchair? Or would you rather have your motherfucking legs back? What do you think they're going to choose? Their legs, babe. Their legs. Ne? So, do I rather want to go through life not knowing my vagina because some white man told me Jezebel was a whore and don't become a whore? And then repressed and depressed and all this shit like postnatal depression and all of that shit that people say is white people shit. Who knows? Maybe cancer comes from lack of sex. Okay, cancer comes from lack of it's like a built-up tension.
Repression.
It's a built-up shit. Mm-hmm. And you have no way of letting it out because you don't want to be a whore. We're so consumed with not being classified.
And your diet, though.
Yes, babe. Yes, and the diet.
Okay.
Ne? Definitely the diet and the cigarettes that we smoke and whatever. But let's say if you had more sex, it would reduce your chances of cancer. Because sex makes you, does endorphins and you're a happier person,
it's like
right?
working out.
Exactly, So all I'm saying is, whores for me are way more liberated and way more self-aware than the woman that is not trying to discover parts of herself. In fact, these women are walking around like crippled people but they're choosing not to engage their many faculties. Do you get what I'm saying? And for me, is that a life worth living? And also, a whore is according to a man. A whore is not according to a woman. It's according to a man's definition of what a whore is. So even then, if you're going to think that you're all conscious and shit because you're not trying to be a whore, you need to understand that you're doing that shit for a man. Do you know what I mean? You think you're doing it for yourself, but no, honey, no. You're doing it for a man. I'm not advocating that people must go have random sex, because random sex is exhausting, But what I'm advocating for is, if you feel at a certain time in your life you just wanna fuck,
be safe.
Yeah, of course, because now there's AIDS, right? Because the whole population got so out of hand. I'm sure some white man went into a scientific lab and engineered a way. How can I control these hoes? Hence AIDS. AIDS.
I control these hoes.
Yeah, how can I? Because these hoes are bowling out of control.
These hoes ain't loyal.
These hoes ain't loyal. They are loyal to themselves. Because, hey, man. No, man. People must just like...
Bunch of bees.
No, man. And the thing, if you really break it down, babe, ho, svebe, hule, only men say that shit. Only men say that shit. Only men categorize. Not we do. And the only reason women do it is to make themselves seem better than other women. And it's always in competition for men's approval. Always in competition for male approval. Right? So I don't care if you got a motherfucking PhD and you're the CEO of fucking marketing or communicate, although the entire Africa MTN, I don't care. But if in your mind, if in your shit is still based on the way in which people define, and by people I mean men, because men hold the dominant ideology, so they kind of govern how we think about ourselves, So if your shit is still dictated by, I don't want to come off, you don't want to come off as what to who, but for yourself. As long as it's not in compromise, you're not compromising anyone, you're not it's not selfish toward anyone, you're not hurt, then hey man, go be happy. Go and be happy. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that happiness is by having multiple orgies with like Nigerians and shit. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is if you want to have multiple orgies with Nigerians and shit, girl, it's your vagina. It's your shit.
Just be safe.
Yes, be safe, of course. Be safe. Be safe. Yeah.
And express yourself.
Sex is good. But it's been demonized so much. It's been demonized so much. And there's a lot of control behind it. But what gets me is when people internalize it for themselves. It's dope if you watch it from afar and you're like, yeah, I see what these institutions are doing to sex. They're making sex look like an enemy. But if sex becomes an enemy for you, right? And if you think about it, the way you were created was through sex. Someone had to fuck for you to happen. You know what I mean? How can you shun that? It's life. It is life. It is literally, that is the only way that a man and a woman can ever become one. Because you are physically inside of me. Like literally, you are inside of me. Not inside my head, but my body, you are there. Hey man, what do you think that hole was made for? Why do you think you have like a pole and I have a hole? It's because poles fit into holes, babe. And again, I'm not advocating carelessness and respect your body, but respecting your body does not mean denying your body. And if you're going to deny your body, it should be based on how you think of yourself and not based on how people will perceive you. For all intents and purposes, babe, you might be dating a former whore. I don't know. I really don't know because I don't know what qualifies a whore. I don't know. I really don't know. But, yeah, that's my thoughts.